We all know that new graphics cards are right around the corner, but we all live in fear of history repeating itself. Are we going to see the 4000 release from Nvidia and the 7000 series from AMD and see prices hike to high heaven and stock dwindle to nothing? Maybe you're happy with the current generation and what it has to offer, but you're just waiting for it to come down in price that little bit more. Well, don't worry. As per our monthly updates, we've been scouring the internet to find exactly what's going on in both the UK and the US. And for the most part, things are looking up. Or should that be down? But before we get into that, here's a quick word from this video's sponsor. Hello mate, you alright? Yeah, just got all the bits from my banging new gaming PC. Just got to put it together. It's going to be so much better than yours. Oh, right. What did you get then? The latest Intel 12th gen processor, a feature-packed motherboard, and 32GB of DDR4 memory. See? Miles ahead of yours. You realise that board needs DDR5 memory, don't you? Don't tell me you went and bought the wrong stuff. DDR4 is so 2014. I can't believe you was that stupid. What? No, you're joking. What should I get then? For me, I'd be looking at Corsair's newest Vengeance DDR5 kits, or if you're wanting that all-important RGB, then go for the Dominator Platinum RGB. Oh, you are a lifesaver, thanks, but where can I find out more? By clicking the link in the description below, of course. And you call me the stupid one. So if you've seen one of these videos before, you already know the drill. But if you're new here, let me explain a few things in super quick fashion. Crypto, in terms of GPU mining, is dead, stock is plentiful, and if anything, there's now more stock in the channel than there kind of ever has been before. And that can be kind of problematic for the manufacturer. Though for you out there, the average consumer, you have things in the best position they've ever been, especially when it comes to pricing. Now, a quick caveat is that we know new cards are coming from both Team Red and Team Green, and Intel are due to be, I guess, in the mainstream market fairly soon, though it feels like we've been saying that for, well, quite a while now. Now, with new cards on the market and the fact that cards are now in abundance, we're starting to see retailers and the brands wanting to potentially even clear stock to make way for the new cards. It's quite funny, actually, that last month we were moaning about getting hold of cards, but now we kind of have the opposite problem in that there's too many cards. And while I know that doesn't sound like a problem, it is, because there's always the fear of potentially buying now and then seeing further price drops shortly after and essentially having buyer's remorse. Now, before we look into kind of what's been happening in the last month, it is worth noting that we try to focus on the cheapest SKU of each individual GPU. And I guess it's always safe to say that if you're looking for a more exotic card like an Asus Strix, a Gigabyte Extreme, or MSI Supreme X, EVGA Kingpin, anything like that, they will actually demand a premium over the prices that we discussed today. Also, as always, if you appreciate the huge amount of work that me and the team put into these types of videos, because it is a lot of work, then you can help support what we do over on Patreon, where you'll get access to behind the scenes content, tons of testing data, and special access to a super secret special area on our Discord. With that out of the way, we've timestamped this video so you can jump straight to the section that is important to you. But for now, let's take a look at the UK market and Nvidia. Starting with the GT 1030, which likely due to demand has seen the price staying the same compared to last month, while the GTX 1050 Ti is now coming in £40 more than last month and is sitting over 22% more than its original MSRP. As we move up to the GTX 1660, it's another non-mover and is still coming in at its launch price, which isn't very impressive for a card that came out in 2019. The GTX 1660 Super is now £9 more expensive compared to last month and still wildly above its MSRP price that it launched with. Moving up to cards with ray tracing and the RTX 2060, which has also seen a price increase of £41 and is now sitting above its launch MSRP price. Considering last month it came in at £248.99, it's actually a little bit odd to see. The RTX 2060 Super is coming in at the same inflated price that we saw last month and still has some room to go to make it, let's say, a reasonable option in 2022. Moving on to the 30 series, and the RTX 3050 is still coming in at the same price as last month, but still around £40 more expensive than when it launched at the start of the year. As we move up the stack, the RTX 3060 is now coming in £10 more expensive compared to the month before, while the 3060 Ti has seen a small reduction by £20, but it's still sitting massively inflated compared to its launch price, but is the cheapest it's been in quite a few months. The RTX 3070 has seen a small £11 cut, but again, while it's the cheapest it's been in a few months, it's still around £50 more expensive than its MSRP price, so not exactly quite where it needs to be just yet. The RTX 3070 Ti went the other way with an increase of £10 and is still over £130 more expensive than its launch price, but again, is the cheapest we've seen it in months, though I feel we still have a fair bit of wiggle room left in it. At least the RTX 3080 10GB is heading in the right direction with a cut of £50 compared to last month, bringing it within £40 of its original launch price, and with plenty of SKUs to choose from, though my personal recommendation would be wait just a little bit longer, or wait for Nvidia, who keeps stocking up FE models for £649 directly on their website. The 12GB model has also seen a decrease in price of £41 compared to June, making it the cheapest it's been in months, and with no official MSRP to go off, I still believe we could see this sub £700 as the 4000 series launch draws closer. The 3080 Ti is the same price as last month, which is its official launch price, and with 4 SKUs to choose from. I do feel retailers will want to start shifting these fairly soon, so we may actually see a little bit more movement in the next month or so. The RTX 3090 has seen the biggest cut with a whopping £200 off compared to last month. This now makes it £500 cheaper than what it was retailing for back in April, and also now puts it £200 below its original launch price. And finally, we also see the RTX 3090 Ti has seen a similar fate with a £150 price cut. It's almost like Nvidia have realised that not many people want to spend nearly £2,000 on a gaming-based graphics card. So time to see what's been happening to Team Red, starting with the RX 6500 XT, which is coming in at the same price as last month and is still sitting below its MSRP of £179. The 6600 has now seen it fall below its MSRP launch price by £10 and is also £10 cheaper than last month too, while the 6600 XT has actually seen a price increase of just under £40 and still sees it sitting above its original launch price. The 6650 XT, however, is at the same price it was last month, which is not only below its MSRP by £10, but is £20 cheaper than the lower performing 6600 XT. Bit of a no-brainer on that one. Moving up to the 6700 XT, and while it has seen a small price reduction of £20 compared to last month, it's still sitting about £30 higher than its MSRP launch price. Whereas again, the newer and more powerful 6750 XT has come down by £20 compared to last month and is sitting below MSRP, albeit only by £3. The RX 6800 has seen a modest price cut of £10, which is nice to see, but the card is still sitting £60 more expensive than its launch price, so still has some way to go. The 6800 XT has a similar story. It's been reduced by £30, but it's still £50 or so more expensive than kind of where it should be. But it is the cheapest it's been for quite a few months, so at least it's heading the right way. As we move to the uber high end, we do see the 6900 XT with a hefty price cut of £111 compared to last month, which also now puts it £310 cheaper than its original launch price, while the 6950 XT is still just above its original launch price by around £35, but has seen a nice £100 chunk taken off it when looking at how much it was in June. Okay, so moving over to the US and starting things off with the GTX 1050 Ti, which has seen a price increase of $61, which now also puts it over $100 more expensive than when it first launched many years ago. The GTX 1650 is now coming in $40 more expensive than last month, which is a shame as last month it was at MSRP. Maybe stock is a bit of an issue with this one, though it is the same story with the 1650 Super, which is also $40 more expensive than its MSRP price. The GTX 1660 has come down slightly by $10, but we are still seeing it $30 more than its launch price. So if it was me, I'd hold off for now until we see it drop down just a little bit more. And the 1660 Ti has seen a $51 increase over last month, which now puts it $61 over the price it had when it first came out. As we move on to the RTX 2060 this month, we see no change in pricing at $309.99, which is lower than MSRP, but after all this time, you'd expect a slightly bigger change in price, and I feel we could see it sub $300 in the next month or so. The big change that we did see here is that while last month it was the same price, this month is for an open box unit, so maybe stock is an issue here. The RTX 2060 Super is back in stock after several months and is now $40 cheaper than its original MSRP, which is nice as the 2060 Super is still a respectable card, even in the latest titles. As we move on to the 30 series, starting with the RTX 3050, and things have gone, well, the wrong way. Now seeing the card coming in $30 more expensive than last month, and pushing over $80 more expensive than its launch price, which was only a few months ago. The RTX 3060 has also seen a price increase compared to last month of $35, which now also puts it over $80 more expensive than its launch price. The 3060 Ti has gone the other way and is now $30 cheaper than last month, but we're still $70 away from anywhere close to what I'd say is reasonable, and we should start to see it dropping a bit more in the next month or so. The 3070 is a bit closer to its MSRP now that it's in a $20 price cut, and again, if you keep checking the Nvidia website, you'll occasionally see them appear at MSRP for a founder's card, while AIB SKUs may still demand an ever so slight premium. The 3070 Ti has seen a $30 price bump, considering last month saw a $50 reduction, so it still has a way to go in terms of the price stabilising, and hopefully we'll see it falling closer to MSRP again in the next month or so. I did actually manage to find another 3070 Ti that was $10 cheaper than last month, but it was open box, so that's down to you if it would bother you or not. The 3080 10GB is coming in at the same price as last month, which is still around $80 above MSRP. But again, Nvidia have been periodically dropping these cards for MSRP through their own website. The 12GB model has seen a $30 reduction, which now puts it $10 cheaper than what we could find the 10GB for. So I'll leave that one up to you as to what you think is the better value one out of the two. I think it's a pretty easy one. The pricing disparity with the 3080 Ti is still pretty high, even though it's seen a $70 reduction when compared to how much it was just a month ago. But at $929, I feel we still have some movement, and for me, the 3080 12GB is still the better buy. The RTX 3090 has seen a huge $150 price drop in a month, which now puts it dramatically below its MSRP. And its bigger brother has seen the same, with the 3090 Ti now sitting at $1,449, a whopping $200 reduction in a month, and well below that somewhat laughable $2,000 launch price. Moving over to AMD and starting with the 6500 XT, which has now seen a $5 decrease compared to last month, which further cements its price point at cheaper than MSRP by quite some margin. It is worth noting that the one we found at that price was an open box, but that shouldn't affect its performance. Though, if you are worried about that, you could spend $11 more and get a sealed unit instead. As we move up to the RX 6600, we see a small but modest drop of $10, which sees it now just under $50 cheaper than its original launch price. The more powerful 6600 XT has also seen a price drop of $20, which now also brings it $40 under its MSRP price, meaning that mainstream gaming is affordable again. The slightly refreshed 6650 XT has seen a $20 reduction too, taking it to $359. So I guess now you have a choice of $20 between the two models, which is much better than when it originally launched. The 6700 XT has seen a slightly better decrease by $41 and is now at the best price it's seen since it's launched. Word to the wise, I can't see this going down much more, so this may be prime time to buy if you're looking at fast-paced 1440p gaming and are based in the US. The refreshed 6750 XT has also seen a $25 price cut, but I do feel the 6700 XT is the kind of better deal at the moment, but that could all change next month. The 6800 has seen a huge $100 slashed off of its price and is now sitting only $20 above its launch price. I do feel it has a little way to go, so maybe hold tight on this one too. The 6800 XT is $80 cheaper than last month and is now the cheapest it's been since its launch. If it was to shed another $40 or so, then it would definitely be worth considering, but for now, it's just a bit above where I want it to be. Now brace yourselves, because the 6900 XT has had a stonking $1 taken off its price tag since last month, though at $798.99, it's frankly a bargain if you're not bothered about ray tracing. And finally, the refreshed 6950 XT has seen a nice $80 chunk come out of its price, and although it's cheaper than its $1,099 launch price, the 6900 XT is still better value for money overall. Okay, so as always, a ton of cards, a ton of numbers and lots to go through, and some pretty interesting finds too. I think for the most part, it's clear to see reductions are happening, and that on the higher end, these reductions are actually pretty large. It's annoying, as some of the cards, like the 3090 Ti, shouldn't have ever been as high as it was, but it's all still a welcome sight to see that prices are finally tumbling and things are starting to get back to some kind of normality, whatever that is these days. Month on month, we have seen prices go down, but there were some, I don't know, obscure ones that have gone back to similar prices that we saw back in April and May. Hopefully, and I think I'm right in saying that this is a temporary glitch due to stock of that particular line of cards. And within the next few weeks, as stock is replenished, we will actually start to see things kind of align a little bit better again. If anything, I think as we move closer to kind of towards the next generation cards being upon us, whenever that may be, we may actually start to see prices tumble even more. But, and it's a big but, I do want to put a word of warning on that if the 30 series launch was anything to go by, we could potentially see things going the other way again. So keep your ear to the ground, because we only make these videos once a month. So by the time you watch the next one, I don't know, it might just be too late. The best way to keep in the loop on this is over on our Discord. Link is down below. So I'd definitely check that out. As well as if you're in the UK, we do actually have a dedicated deals channel that will spam you with anything we find. So maybe that's worth considering as well. And if you want to see it, maybe we'll start doing it for the US as well. Let me know in the comments section below. For now, I'll say this. I think GPUs are the best prices they've been for a while. And while some cards are resisting ever so slightly, I think August is going to be a pretty pivotal, big kind of turning point, especially if we start finding out more information on new cards that will be coming to the market in the near future. Because while having some nice performance gains are welcomed, if the talk about power consumption is anything to go by, and we have videos on that, so definitely go and check that out, I think more consumers are going to want the current gen stuff while they can actually afford to run them. Especially with the price of electricity going through the roof as well, and it's due to go up in October again. Yeah, so there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, a link and a sub to the channel would be amazing. And as mentioned, if you appreciate the huge effort that goes into researching and making these types of videos and want to get access to some cool behind the scenes content among a ton of kind of other benefits, then consider supporting us over on Patreon and joining the huge amount of people who already do. You don't want to be left out, do you? Again, that link is down below. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. See you later, guys.